Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, welcome to a new vlog. I'm Lee from Mortgage Free Lee. I talk about money and mum life on the internet. And today I thought we'd have a little chatty chat about intentional spending. I basically had this whole vlog planned out where we were going to go and sort of get a nice breakfast, go get my eyebrows done. That's all kind of fallen apart. However, it's still relevant to the issue of intentional spending. And I want to talk about it today because I feel like budgeting gets a bad rap. It's probably one of the biggest misconceptions about budgeting is that budgeting means pinching every penny. And I guess for some people it does. If you're going to live that super frugal life where you literally try to save every single penny, every non-essential spend you try to cut out, not for me by the way, then I guess that is what it means. But budgeting doesn't have to look like that. And it certainly doesn't look like that the way I do it. So as you know, I have a budget and I work to a budget. However, honestly, my budget is kind of a guide. I am definitely not a perfect person. Definitely not a perfect person. And my budget is more kind of like, honestly aspirational at some points, but my budget is very much a guide to the way I want to allocate my money. So even though I have a budget, day to day, the way I try to spend my money is intentionally. And I thought we'd have a little chat today about what that means, how to figure out what you want your life to look like in order to be able to intentionally spend, and the things that I am going to be spending on this year. I have already decided that there are some things I will be spending money on, and they are absolutely not essential. If I'm being honest, it kind of gets on my nerves a little bit when people make comments about certain things that I've bought or money that I've spent not being essential. I would say with the exception of like food and bills, almost nothing that we buy is absolutely essential. I mean, yes, in modern day society, you need a phone really, but you don't need an iPhone, admittedly. But the difference between a smartphone and a brick phone, which is what I would call a phone that doesn't have internet capability, is huge. And the ramifications for your life are huge. There is nothing wrong with having things that you want sometimes, but it's how to know when to spend, when not to spend, and how not to go crazy. That is the key to having things that you want. Now, I will preface this by saying there are some people out there who live to a budget and they have to live to a budget and there is no money for wants. But there are also a lot of people out there who do have some disposable income. And it's in spending that disposable income where we need to start thinking about spending intentionally. So I think a good place to start is, what is intentional spending? And for me, intentional spending is when you spend money in a way that supports your goals and visions for your life and the things that are important to you. You are spending your money on things that are important to you and that you have prioritised, and not spending money on things that you don't value and that are not important to you. And I question myself on it sometimes because it might seem a little bit counterintuitive sometimes that I'm trying to get a freebie or making sure I'm getting the best deal on something or trying to save like a few pounds at the supermarket, but then going out and spending more than that on a takeout coffee or getting my nails done. I got my nails done today, by the way. Hello, intentional spending. And this is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to intentional spending. My wedding is actually probably a really good example of intentional spending. We had a rough budget in mind, so we were working to a budget. However, that didn't mean that we weren't having anything that we didn't need. So we saved money on our venue by having a winter wedding. We had a slightly smaller wedding. We had the wedding all in one venue. We got a good deal on that. But there were some things that we spent on that absolutely were not necessary. So we got these like big trees. This is not going to make any sense unless you're at my wedding, in which case, hi. But these sort of big decorative trees to sort of set off the winter wedding look that we were going for. And that was something that we wanted to spend money on. However, we didn't spend money on flowers because whilst I know fresh flowers are like insanely important to some people, it's not something I valued, so I didn't spend any money on them. I had some foam bouquets. We didn't even have flowers as part of our centerpieces. We spent an insane amount of money on our photographer. He was worth every penny, but we spent a lot of money on him, and that was very much intentional because the pictures and the style of pictures that I wanted was very important to me, but flowers weren't. So that is a really good example of spending intentionally, but forget my wedding and let's bring it back to real life. So how do you develop a blueprint from which you can spend intentionally? How do you decide which things to spend on and which things not to? And honestly, I feel like this time of year is the perfect time of year to be thinking about this because around the end of the year, the start of a new year, we get really reflective about how the last year went and have a lot of thoughts about how we want our next year to look. And that is where intentional spending comes in. But when you think about your day-to-day life and when you think about the year ahead, how do you want it to look? How do you want it to feel? On the 31st of December 2025, when you look back at the year, how do you want it to look? And that is really the basis, I feel, for your intentional spending blueprint. So for me personally, I've reflected on 2024. I am in one of those transformational times in your life. 2025 is the year I turned 40. I don't know if I've mentioned this on this channel before. I might have. But 2025 is the year I turned 40, which is a big milestone. My daughter turned 6. So in the last 6 years, I've become a mum, had 2 children, started a new business, and I'm about to enter a new decade of my life. And I'm very much at a point in my life where I do feel like things need to change. Those of you who've had children, I'm sure you will resonate with me on this. At this point in motherhood, I don't feel like I know who I am or what I like anymore. And at this point in motherhood and my life, I don't really feel like myself anymore. Life with 2 kids is chaotic. It's wonderful, but it's chaotic. It's busy. I'm getting older. I can definitely feel that. And so when I look ahead to 2025, I really want to invest in myself, and that has been a big thing for me. I really want to invest in myself in 2025. And when I say that, I mean that in literally all the ways. So starting off with the obvious, I want to invest in my health. And I've started thinking about ways that I want to do that. I put my vitamins on auto ship so I will not miss my vitamins, because as a mum, as a parent, you end up being bottom of the pile in the list of priorities. I am saying to myself that I am happy to spend that amount of money every month to have these vitamins be at my house so that I can take them. And I'm absolutely fine with that because I feel like it's an investment in my health. And when we talk about intentional spending, I will say I don't just mean money, I also mean time and effort. So I've prioritised myself by going to the doctors. I've got a few bits and bobs going on there that I need to sort out. And additionally to that, I've also been looking at getting a private blood test because I'm getting to the age now where there's a lot of hormonal things going on. And as great and as fortunate as we are to have our NHS in England, it's overstretched. My issues are not an emergency. And so I wonder if I might get more answers from doing a private blood test. So that is something I'm looking into and I will update you on because I've got a few things going on in the background relating to that. Still on the topic of health, I want to be eating better quality food. I want to be looking after my body in terms of what goes into it. And that doesn't just mean food, that also means water. We live in a really hard water area, and ever since we moved here, I never had issues with water before, but ever since we moved here, literally the minute that we moved here, I could taste the difference in the water. I've also been to Iceland and tasted what Icelandic tap water tastes like, and now I know it's different. So we've always had like water filters, like the water filter jug and the filters. The filters are getting really expensive. Now that's not an issue in itself, but we actually decided to invest in a water filter that you fit under your sink. Now we did actually spend our own money on it. However, I'm going to be working with them. So I'm going to test it out before I tell you any more about it because I will not tell you about a product that I don't love. And I had no issue whatsoever in spending the money on buying that water filter. We did buy that water filter. So I'm really excited to use that. And when it comes to what I'm putting in and on my body, I've also become more conscious of using non-natural products. So I definitely want to move towards using more natural products in 2025. And I have actually changed my deodorant over to this Fussy natural one. So this is the brand Fussy. I have tried Wild in the past as a paying customer, and one of the scents worked for me, one of the scents didn't work for me. And basically, I just didn't feel like it was a natural deodorant that actually worked for me. This one, however, I find much better. I love the fact that it's plastic free. Basically, you get this refillable case and then you get the little sort of inserts that you put inside of here. Have a look. So they look like this. And you just pop them into here and you put the top back on your case. Twist it up and down. This one I find works for me. So this is definitely a switch I'm going to be sticking with in 2025. If you're interested in trying natural deodorant, I would definitely recommend giving this one a try. I do have a code that gets you money off. I'll pop it on the screen and I will pop the link in the description box, which will be an affiliate link just so you know. But it's important to say that just because I've decided I'm going to invest in these areas, that doesn't just mean I'm going to throw money at absolutely anything. And here's a good example. Before Christmas, I was looking at this cookbook, so Food for Life by Tim Spector. It's the Zoe brand, if you've heard of that. All about like gut health, natural foods, and I was really interested in this book, and it was going to be a gift anyway. However, the price tag was over £20. And I just found that really expensive for a book. So I didn't ask for it. And look who picked it up from the charity shop for £3.49, which I was obviously thrilled with. So when it comes to things like cookbooks and also fitness, at the moment I have no plans to spend money on my fitness. I would like in theory to have a personal trainer and join like a different kind of gym, not just a gym where you go and do weights. I don't know exactly what I mean, but I know it exists. Like a small boutique type gym. I'm interested in that idea. However, I have no intentions to spend on it right now because it's entirely possible for me to work out and exercise and start that part of my journey without spending money. There are so many free workouts on YouTube. We have YouTube Premium anyway. We've got old DVDs that work absolutely fine. I have not yet joined the walking pad crew because I'm not convinced that I would actually use it and it wouldn't just end up discarded with clothes all over it in like 6 months. So just because I've decided I'm going to intentionally spend on my health doesn't mean I'm just going to throw money at everything. I'm carefully considering what things I will use, what is important to me. So even within the category of my health that I've decided I'm going to spend money on, I still have distinctions between things I'm going to prioritise that need investment and things that don't necessarily need monetary investment, even though I am going to do them. I hope this is making sense. I feel like I have to say that in every video. I hope I make sense. Tell me if I make sense. So moving on from health, but kind of adjacent, I want to invest in myself physically, I guess. As I've said, I'm turning 40. I'm having a little bit of a crisis of confidence. I'm getting older. I'm on a bit of a journey to trying to improve the health of my hair, which has been coloured for years and was very, very dry. And at the moment, my husband does my hair. However, I might have to suck it up and go to hairdressers and get them to colour it because it needs a little bit of help. Now, there's a funny or not so funny story to this. I was going to get my eyebrows microbladed. I was literally supposed to be there this morning to get my eyebrows microbladed. However, I had a last minute wobble, did a bit of research, and basically put myself off. But I had decided that I was going to do that and I was going to spend the money on it. And in theory, I don't have an issue with that. It's just that it turns out that perhaps the permanency of that procedure is not for me. So I'm going to look at something else to do on that front. I'm going to spend money on getting my teeth whitened. I think it's going to cost me about £350, which is a pretty penny, but I can't actually believe that it's taken me all these years to do it. I have wanted my teeth whitened basically forever, and I don't know why I haven't. I clearly never decided before that that was an area I was going to intentionally spend on, and now I have, and I'm kicking myself for why I didn't do it sooner. Because it's really important to me, and I don't know why I haven't done it before now. I have zero issue with spending £350 on getting my teeth whitened, like none, because it's important to me. It's intentional. There is going to be a positive effect that is worth £350 to me. That is what intentional spending is. I get my nails done because it makes me feel more put together. It's not necessary to spend that money, but it actually makes my life better. It genuinely does make my life better because I don't have to do them. I'm the kind of person who chips their nails 5 seconds after painting them with traditional nail varnish. Literally 5 seconds. Sometimes I mess them up while I'm doing them. So getting my nails done properly is well worth the expense to me. It's something I am willing to invest money in. And lastly, I want to prioritise fun and experiences. And I've said this on Instagram, I want 2025 to be the year we lived. I want to do more things. So my husband and I in 2024 made a really good start to this because we don't have family help with childcare. We don't live near any of my close family or friends. My parents are like an hour one way away. Like, don't get me wrong, in an emergency, we have people who would help us. But in terms of just getting someone to watch the kids, we don't have that where we live. And one day I was kind of thinking about the last time that we went to the cinema, which is when I was heavily pregnant with my son. And I realised that if we didn't do something about this situation, I'm not sure when that would ever happen again. So we decided to invest in a babysitter. I say babysitter like this because she's not just a babysitter. This woman works at my child's nursery. She is an actual childcare professional. And if all of my family were wiped out in some sort of tragedy, I would actually be happy for her to take my children. Like, I love her that much. So we decided to invest in getting her to babysit for us. And we do it roughly once a month, not always once a month, but roughly once a month. And it costs money that we technically don't have to spend. And obviously, I want to pay her a decent amount of money, so it's not cheap, but it is that intentional spending to say, I need quality time with my partner. We want to go out and do things, adult things, like go for a meal, go for drinks, stay out past 7 p.m. And it is well worth spending the money on that. And that's the same when it comes to our family holiday. We already have a holiday sinking fund for that. But I'd also like to add in a few other things. We take the kids, you know, to my mum's, we go to coffee shops, we go to the park and whatnot. But I feel like I'd like to do a few more experiences, like a few more actual days out with them. I just feel like I'd like to create a few more memories now they're getting to the age where that could actually be pleasant. Because obviously when you've got a baby and naps and tiredness and all that sort of stuff, it's a lot harder, but I feel like we're getting to the point where we might actually be able to enjoy that, and therefore the money spent on it would be worth it. So that is something that I want to do for 2025. And so deciding that I want to spend money on all of those things intentionally gives me a bit of focus when it comes to things that I don't want to spend money on. And I don't want to waste money in other areas, and I will save that couple of pounds at the supermarket getting my cash back, because why not? Why would I spend more money than I have to? I could have this extra money to go towards one of those other things that I really want to do. And I'm not sure if I touched on this before, but intentional spending is also about investing your time in things and your effort in things, not just money. And it's about where you invest your energy. So I would really like 2025, and honestly, it's the 10th or something today when I'm filming this. So far I've not achieved this at all, but I'm aware of that and I'm going to be working on it. I want to achieve having more time to relax, to read, to do hobbies, instead of constantly rushing around everywhere. I just feel like I'm just a constant blur of like rushing around everywhere. I feel like I'm always working, and I want to reduce that. I want to get that balance back. So when we talk about intentional spending, I don't just mean money. I honestly have a lot to say on this topic, and I feel like it's really important, but I also feel like this has been a little bit of a mad ramble. So I hope you've stayed with me. I hope I've managed to get the points across that I was trying to get across. But do let me know. I'd love to hear in the comments what the things that you are going to spend money on in 2025 or spend your time on. What is it that you want to achieve in 2025? Do you want to get your health back? Do you want to spend more time on yourself? Do you want to improve your work-life balance? Do you want to have more experiences? Let me know, because I'd be really interested to hear what you guys are prioritising in 2025. I'd also love to know what videos you want to see next. I've really enjoyed some of our finance chats lately. Don't worry, Aldi shopping vlogs will be coming back, as will the general chaotic vlogs. It's just that life hasn't really allowed me to do those the last few weeks with it being Christmas. So let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see. Absolutely anything, all suggestions welcome. Please do drop me a comment. You have no idea how much dropping a comment on a video like this helps a little channel like mine. I'm Lee from Mortgage Freely. I talk about money and mum life on the internet. We do budget with me's, we do Aldi shopping hauls, we do money saving mum day in the life. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, please click the subscribe button. If you are watching this and you watch my videos and you're not subscribed, press that button, please do it. But for now, I will see you on the next one.